Pets and Drugs, great song.
Thank you.
Is that about when you have to give your dog anxiety medication?
It's about taking your dog's anxiety medication.
That's what
It's about dog Xanax. Yeah. On my first day at Teahupo'o, got pumped, cut up.
Really? So you grinded across the reef?
Yeah, my foot got gashed open, and then there was sharks circling me in the lagoon. Like, what is going on?
Who would you like to do a duet with?
Andre 3000.
Is he still making music?
He's making flute music now.
Do you have any pre-show rituals?
My brother Zach starts it, and we all give each other a kiss on the cheek in a circle, like a.
Yeah.
And then everyone just sort of like screams really loudly, like in a guttural sort of way, and gets fired up. And then that's it.
That's a bit like the Freemasons with the weird handshake.
Yeah.
Not really. What's one of these perfect pop songs?
Perfect pop
but
song.
you know.
The whole K-pop thing.
Demon Hunters, that is going on.
My kids love that.
Yeah. Watched it with my daughter.
Pretty good songs.
Pretty good songs. Pretty sick show. Pretty sick movie.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Artists that you see on Spotify who might have millions of streams will struggle often to sell 200 tickets.
Wow.
It just doesn't translate. For a lot of music consumers, they're just happy just to listen to whatever gets fed to them by the algorithm.
Yeah. Algorithms.
Algorithms.
The bane of everyone's existence. You know, you look up one donkey video and then, you know,
it's just horses.
It's just mules, asses, donkeys. Never ends. Today's guest is a musician who has toured the world with some of the biggest names in the business. His band, the Rubens, is a platinum-selling, multi-award-winning rock group. He's conquered Triple J's Hottest 100. He's commanded stages in front of massive crowds across the globe and has earned a reputation for lyrics that hit you right in the chest.
Bad weeks that could tear you apart.
Now it's time to meet the hero behind hoops, so buckle up. This is Idle Talk. G'day.
G'day, mate.
Sam Margin, welcome to Idle Talk.
Thanks for having me.
This is going to be fun.
All right. Buckle up, brother.
Yeah, I know. So this is not the most powerful car you've ever driven. You were talking about the GV60, twin electric motors.
Yeah, it was shocking. When you press the boost button, I knew it was going to be quick, and I'd obviously seen reviews of EVs and fast EVs, but the feeling of it feels like you're on a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Where there's no lag, there's no changing of gears. It was just like immediate, and it's just your eyes get pushed into the back of your head.
Yeah, it punches you in the...
And it doesn't stop.
In the gullet. Yeah.
Until you hit the brake. I'm surprised it took so long for the technology to get there, because it is so far superior. There is something still lost on me in terms of just the driving experience.
Yes.
When you just want to get from A to B, and maybe you want to put your foot down now and again, you can't beat it.
Yeah.
You don't have to think about anything. Everything's so smooth. To be honest with you though, I think the ultimate situation for people right now in Australia is if you don't go on long trips, if you don't go away, further than 300 Ks, and you've got a charger in your garage.
Yeah.
I don't think there's something like a better situation, really, right?
Yeah.
My friend in London used to have an EV back when they were, I think it was a smart car.
Oh,
remember the little,
yes.
like those EVs?
The European ones, yeah.
And all the rude boys would come up and snip his cables at night. I reckon he went through about 30 of them, yeah. No. just for fun.
That is harsh.
Yeah.
The thing about EVs that I find a little challenging is they don't seem to have the soul that you get from, a combustion engine, these tiny explosions beating away inside the car the way they rev out. That driver-to-car connection. Feel like you don't quite get that in an EV. I think they'll get there.
No.
I think they will, maybe.
Yep.
Maybe.
How?
But well, I don't know. AI will fix it.
Yeah.
Speaking of AI, I've seen some AI churn out some pretty incredible melodies and lyrics, and there's been some, I think there was a fake Drake song or something that people loved. Like, is that scary for you? Is that gonna change the way you work?
We've had these conversations a lot on the two of us.
Yeah.
Like I was talking about on the weekend, it seems like a thing that we always come back to within the band. We discuss, are we in trouble? If not, who's in trouble within the industry?
Yeah.
Who's replaceable within? And that's the entire world is having this same conversation, right?
100%.
Live performance, I think, is very safe.
Yes.
For a long time. I think there'll be generations and generations of people who won't stomach seeing robots perform on stage. So I think we're good in that way. I guess there's a bit of a parallel between the EV adoption and people being okay with AI writing music, in that some people are going to love it and not look back.
Yeah.
There will be purists and,
100%.
you know, so there'll be a bit of both, but I think the live music thing is here to stay for a long time. And I think I feel bad for people who write music for other people. So songwriters, we have a lot of friends who are professional songwriters who help create songs for some of the biggest artists in the world.
Yeah.
And that's their bread and butter. They don't get to go and perform these songs and make
yeah.
money on the road. So there is nothing stopping a bunch of people in their basements using AI to write songs that are very, very good, you know, objectively, and no one will know.
Yeah.
No one on the back end will know that they had the help from a bot. So that's a worry, and it's a little bit sad.
We're going to see that in a lot of different industries where people will be proud to say human created.
Yes.
There will be almost like a badge or something that's...
Yeah, totally. And this is going to sound, I'm going to take this into a really weird place, but we're having this chat, we were having this conversation in the bus like this weekend. And at the end of it, I was just like, we're talking about our industry as if like, will people prefer music that's been made by AI or real people, and what's that going to mean and all that? But if AI gets as good as everyone's worried it's going to be, I think that's going to be the least of our worries. Yes. I think we're going to be struggling, you know, to find food possibly.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So like,
yeah,
I think we might be okay if AI doesn't do what everyone's terrified it's going to do.
Do you have a bunker?
No, actually we record in the bunker.
I heard about this World War II thing. What is this all about?
Yeah, so our bass player, Will, he has a studio in a World War II bunker. So that's where we record. It's in our hometown of Camden. It was a World War II communications bunker. Didn't really have any other use before that, and he turned it into a recording studio. Turns out it's perfect for that.
Were the acoustics pretty good?
Terrible.
Oh.
Because it's kind of like a tin can cut in half. So it's round and long, and a lot of natural sort of reverb in there that Will had to spend a lot of time getting rid of.
Gotcha.
But now it's great.
One of my questions was this, because a lot of big names, whether they're musicians or movie stars, are selling their likeness, their voice to companies for money. If Sam Altman from OpenAI, ChatGPT, came up and said, here's $100 million, we're going to create this robot or whatever, and you could just retire, would you do it?
Yeah, yes, in a heartbeat.
100 mil?
100 mil?
Yeah, that'd be...
What are you talking about? You should have given me a lower number to make it. I'd take that 100 mil and do a lot of good for me and a lot of good for the world.
Yeah. Let's say you got this $100 million. What would be your dream car? What would you buy?
Well, that makes it hard, right? Because I had one of my dream cars. Wow. I had a 1978 911 SC. So back when I bought that was when the SC was really undervalued, and I was like, I got a bit of money from a record deal, and I was like, I don't have any kids, I don't have any responsibilities. This was like, you know,
Fantastic.
2014 or something.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy a car that I've always wanted. I'll have it for as long as I can afford to have it, and I'll sell it, but I'll experience owning this car. So I bought an SC for nothing.
That's the dream, owning a 911.
I bought my 911.
I mean, that's my dream. I haven't done it. I want to do it.
It was the best car. Yeah. And I ended up keeping it for a lot longer, and my plan was that was going to be my forever Sunday sort of car.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit, and it had gone up a lot. I bought really well with that car, so I ended up having to sell my dream car because I couldn't tour and stuff.
Yeah, well, for musicians, for artists.
And I'm so grateful that car was there, because it helped, you know, paid the bills.
Yeah.
So now my dream is probably just to get what I think is the best, slightly more modern version of that car, which is the 997.2. Again, with things going to electric and all that, I think something that still is quick and you can mod it and have fun with it, but it's still manual.
Yeah, and there's not too much automation, and there's not too many gizmos working in the background.
It's the last one really where they didn't have all that stuff going on.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably my dream car. But if I had 100 million, man, who knows? Probably might change.
Do a resto mod or something.
Yeah, get a singer.
Oh.
One day.
Now, we've been driving along the, what is it called? The
Seacliff Bridge.
The Seacliff Bridge. Now, that hasn't been there forever, has it? And before that, as I understand it, there was quite a sketchy little coastal road.
Yeah, so the mines were they're all along here.
Yeah.
And before the Seacliff Bridge was built, it was just a sketchy road with a lot of landslides and whatnot. And my friend's uncle, my friend told me this, who knows if it's true, but he said my friend's uncle used to go to the pub and maybe have a couple too many and drive home back in probably his 70s.
Happened in the
along
day.
this dodgy road, yeah. And I think he said he's gone off the edge 3 times and survived.
Oh my God. That is a reasonable drop too. Like,
yeah.
jeez. Hope he was wearing a seatbelt.
Yeah, I doubt it.
It was a different time. Did you always know you wanted to be a musician when you were a kid? Like, or did you have a dream job as a kid? You want to be a fireman or something like this?
Honestly, I mean, I've had this question a million times, but I don't know if I've ever answered it honestly. Like, I did always want to do music, but at one point I wanted to wear a suit.
Yeah.
This was about when I was like 16 or 17, and I was like, I think I just glamorized the idea of being in the city and wearing a nice suit and having a watch and
Could be an accountant.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know what I was thinking, but I just, there was this idea, and I think I went out. No, I did. I was like, I'll get to wear, I just want to wear a suit.
Yep.
So I left school, and for a month I got a job in sales. I only lasted 1 day and then never answered their calls again because I was just disgusted by I'd never seen sales.
Yep.
And I'd never seen someone, I remember walking into this shop and it was this, I think an old Korean couple had this shop forever and they were, basically the 2 sales guys I was with that I was learning from were just spinning them a web of lies and trying to screw over this. And I left there and I was just like, oh my God, I don't want to wear a suit that much. You know? So yeah, that was my first, that's how I worked out what I didn't want to do.
Yeah. The film clip for My Gun, one of your most famous songs, has a real sort of James Bond look to it.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
It's a long time ago.
What happened there?
What happened?
Oh, look, I like it. I'm not besmirching it.
I'm pretty sure the director, because when you're shooting a music video, you get a bunch of directors to pitch ideas to you.
Yeah.
And one of the directors pitched this sort of opening scene from one of the Bond films.
Yep.
Which was semi-animated and stuff. And he pitched that and he was like, what about like if it looked kind of like this? And we were like, yeah, it's James Bond, that looks cool.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we did it and it was maybe a little bit too James Bond.
I've seen the Rubens referred to as indie rock a fair bit, but if someone said pop rock, would you be offended?
I would say that's not incorrect, but not exactly correct.
Okay.
I wouldn't be offended. You can't be offended by being pigeonholed. You're an artist. Like, you make music and people are going to put it where they put it. Like, it really doesn't offend me because good pop music is some of the best music in the world, in my opinion.
Agreed.
There's not a lot of it, in my opinion, but good pop music is cool. I think indie rock is probably like where we belong, but pop's fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's one of these perfect pop songs?
Perfect pop
but,
song.
you know, UK, USA,
I think it was USA.
Korea.
Yeah, the whole K-pop thing.
Hey, Demon Hunters, that is going on.
My kids love that.
Yeah. I watched it with my daughter.
Pretty good songs.
Pretty good songs. Pretty sick show. Pretty sick movie.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I was like, this is cool.
Yeah. We can shout out K-pop Demon Hunters. We're in a Korean car.
Exactly. Fair to say it wasn't Barbie Girl by Aqua.
It is an absolute banger.
Do you prefer more intimate live gigs or the big stage? Thousands of people.
It's boring to say it, but you kind of need both to enjoy both.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like, if you just played festivals, you would miss the intimacy of a smaller show because festivals, it's just a massive dots, you know, really. Like, you're looking out there and it's not, you don't really, you get to see some reactions in the front row.
Yeah.
But you never, even the way you communicate to them when you're talking, you know, banter between songs and stuff, you can't really do the same thing on the mic. You can't have quirky interactions like you could in a 1,000 capacity club or something where people can kind of hear each other and what they're saying. And so you can have banter back and forth.
People can yell out to you.
They can yell out to me, we can have fun. I can probably say things that are a little bit more off the cuff and you can almost, they can see your facial expression, so you could get away with saying something a little bit risque, or just like you can have a bit more fun with it.
Yeah.
You can't have throwaway lines on the microphone in front of 40,000 people because no one's going to hear it or understand what you're saying. So that's why it's different. That's just a different experience for you on stage. Like on a big arena show or something, you just have to do the tropes of how's everybody doing tonight, because all they hear is and then they go woo, woo.
Yeah.
They can't hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's just this thing that you have to do back and forth, and it's fun. But for those reasons, like the intimate shows are just a different thing entirely.
Yeah. For comedians, they sometimes get heckled. Have you ever had interactions on a intimate gig where you've gone, oh, this is taking a turn?
No, I have to say, like, I quite like it if on a smaller show like that, like if it's a show where, say, I don't know, a theatre size, I quite like it if something slightly goes wrong or an audience member gets a bit mouthy, because I've never had someone be disrespectful or heckle me like they would a comedian.
Yeah.
I've had
but surely they go,
get a bit mouthy.
They go, play hoops, mate, come on.
I've had play hoops a lot, and you always have to have a little something ready for that. But like, I like those kind of interactions if there's a drunk idiot, and they're fine. And it just means that for me, honestly, it doesn't feel like Groundhog Day when you're on a 30-show tour. Like, it's fun to have things that happen.
So you've toured with some pretty big names. Time to name drop.
The biggest is probably Bruce Springsteen.
Wow,
and
the
topical.
boss.
He's got a the boss.
Topical.
We did a few shows with him as the opener, and then Jimmy Barnes was the main support, which was sick. And then we were lucky enough to, when he came back a few years later, he got us as the main support, which was really cool. Like, so
what an honour!
Kind of a seal of approval. Didn't meet him.
Didn't meet him?
No, didn't meet him.
What? I was going to say, what's he like?
They said, hey, do you want to come over? Like, I mean, like, he's iconic.
Yeah.
And he had, like, you know, he's older and he's just been doing it for so long. It's like, what am I going to say to him?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They said, oh, you want to go over and meet him? He's in his compound, you know, like backstage, probably doing yoga just so he can get through his 3-hour set. Wow. You know, like, he's got a lot on his plate. Wow. And I thought about it, and I think we were just all like, I'd only be meeting him so I could say I met him.
Yeah.
So I didn't, and I'm glad I didn't, because I don't know what I would say.
There you go. That's interesting. In my head, I'm like, I would have jumped at it, but that is an interesting point of view.
Why would I give myself, extra anxiety?
Yeah,
you know?
well, there is that. Yeah. And what if he goes, look, mate, you need to tweak your set. I'm with,
Who are you, sorry?
This song.
I didn't book you. My manager did it,
and we were talking about pop music earlier. Pink as well?
Pink, yeah.
Tell me about that.
That was wild. That was when
her show is off the scale, isn't it? She's doing like Cirque du Soleil stuff.
Yeah, which I wasn't fully aware of, but it is insane.
Yes.
That was a weird one because it didn't make sense. The fit didn't really make sense in my mind when we got the offer.
Yeah.
But then we were just like, why not? You know, we'll reach a new audience and we get to just play a lot of shows. Like, she was playing, I think it was 43 arenas.
Wow.
So
arenas. What's that like?
That was cool, man. It was really cool as well because she sells so many arenas out in the same city. So we were like on tour for months, and so like every day we just turn up to the same place, and it's just like you get to know the security guards. Feel like you're going to work. Morning guys. Going to sound check and it was cool. It was an eye-opening experience.
I love it. Yeah. And did you meet her?
Yeah. She was lovely.
Was she? Yeah,
she's
cool?
She's got I feel like within like the celebrity world, there's a bunch of celebrities where it's a roll of the dice. In real life, they could be arseholes or they could be legends, but there's some that are kind of widely known to be legends.
Yep.
Like Ed Sheeran's is widely known to be a legend.
Yes.
Pink is widely known to be a legend.
Gotcha.
And there's just people that have that kind of reputation for being, Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Everyone knows good dude.
They don't have a chip on their shoulder. There's not too much arrogance. They'll
and they just seem like real people, even though somehow they've made it through this celebrity and the fame and fortune and come out the other side of it as normal people. They're kind of like what you'd hope you would be.
Yeah.
What everyone would like to think they'd be like if they were them, And Pink was like that. She was just a cool chick, funny, sarcastic. You can kind of see why she likes Australia as well. She has that sort of humor.
Yeah. It's funny, like there's sometimes that sense that some Americans don't get sarcasm,
which they don't.
There you go. Glad you said it.
Not all of them, but a lot of them.
Yes, because you obviously toured a lot in the US. You spent a lot of time.
Got a lot of US friends, and they do get sarcasm. That's why we're friends.
Because and so you still tour?
Yeah, still tour a lot. I mean, touring for us is where we make our money, really.
That's your day job, or your bread and
that's
butter.
our day job. Like we write the albums and we record the albums, and sure, we might get a little bit of money from streaming or whatever, but really, like, to pay the bills, it's touring.
Yeah.
And lucky for us, that's not, it's the funnest part of being a musician. Like, some of us have families now and stuff, so it's harder to be away.
For sure.
That being said, like, we are best mates, like our band and our crew. You know, our crew.
Yeah.
We've had the same crew for forever.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like hanging out with mates. We're going on a
just
bit
a
of
holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a holiday with mates, and we've seen the world together. So
And the band, there's 3 margins, right?
3 brothers,
Yeah, so
which
there's-
helps.
I remember when I was young, I got 2 brothers. I used to punch on with them a lot.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever get in squabbles and never?
No, I mean, like,
That's like
we've never punched on, and to be honest, I don't know why, but we all get along pretty well. Like, everyone's got their idiosyncrasies. You spend enough time with anyone.
True.
I think the good thing about brothers, and I mean, the other 2 guys have become like our brothers. We've spent over a decade, living out of each other's pockets. Like, you do become like family. But I think once you know someone that well, there's 2 ways it can go. You can push each other's buttons and be petty, and in 2 seconds we could roll each other up if we wanted to. Or you can know what buttons not to push, and how to sort of just like be gentle when you need to, or back off and take some time, or give someone some space if they need it, because touring can be stressful. You're tired, you're hungover. There's a lot going on. So I think we didn't choose violence.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's a lovely story. And it leads to my next question. Do you have like an ethos or a philosophy you live by, like a little maxim that...
I think the general thing for us as a band is that we've made a point of never taking it for granted. I don't think we've ever really needed reminding, but we got a pretty heavy reminder with COVID when everything was just taken away.
Yeah.
And it was up to the government when we'd be able to do our job again, the thing that we love to do.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people would be able to relate to that, but like, that kind of reminded us how much we love our job. And I think as long as we sort of keep that in mind, like, we have a job that we love and most people don't.
Yeah.
And we're super lucky. So if sometimes it's really hard, you just have to suck it up.
Now, talking about touring and working with some of these huge international acts, can you tell me any crazy, wild Rockstar bender sort of stories? Have you got any of these? I'm sure you've
I've got a million.
countless. Yeah. Can you tell me any of them?
There's a whole lot of alcohol related. And to be fair, I will preface any story I tell with, I haven't had a drink since February, taking it very easy right now, which is
good on
good,
you.
very good. Back in the day,
Super.
and it's a result of realizing that, hey, like, you've got access to free alcohol every day of your life.
Yeah.
Like, some point something's got to give. So preface it with that. I'm
Respect
trying to
the
be really
liver.
healthy now. Respect the liver. But it's definitely a part of that world. And I mean, one story was I went to Splendor in the Grass with some mates.
Great festival.
And we weren't playing this year, but I just went along, and I had a couple of mates who were DJing.
Yeah.
And they said, well, actually, one of the DJs, he couldn't make it, so they had a cardboard cut out of him on stage for their set. Yeah. And they were like, can you just come up and DJ with us? And I was like, yeah, sure. So I went up. I've never DJ'd before in my life, and I definitely had a few too many. And by that point, not really realizing.
Bit schwangered.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I went up there and put on the performance of a lifetime.
What are we talking
According to those that saw it.
Yeah.
I don't remember much of it.
Oh, okay.
But
interpretive dance, perhaps.
Yeah, you could call it that. I know that. I mean, they were stoked, the DJs, because that those boys really appreciate the wild side of life, I guess. But apparently I had the mic. I was singing for a bit. I jumped down to the audience with the mic in my hand and whacked the mic into my lips, so I had a bleeding mouth.
Ooh.
And then at one point I was drinking my beer and then spitting bloody beer into the audience.
Oh, that is rock and roll right there. That is.
But as I say it, it just makes me cringe so hard.
Oh, yes.
It's not my proudest moment, but it's still funny.
It is.
It's funny, but I wish it wasn't me. I wish we were telling this story about someone else,
We can sit here and have a laugh.
Yeah. I've changed my ways.
Pets and Drugs. Great song.
Thank you.
Is that about when you have to give your dog anxiety medication?
It's about taking your dog's anxiety medication.
That's what
It's about dog Xanax. Yeah. It's about stealing anxiety medication from pets.
That's what I first thought when I heard it. But
It's
clearly not
stop
about
holding
that.
out on me, you know. Yeah. No, it's not about that. I don't really know what to say about that one, to be honest with you. It's a memorable title.
Yes.
And it's a banger.
It is.
I didn't write that one, so I can say that. My brother
Okay,
Elliot
nice.
wrote that one,
Yeah.
so he wrote that banger.
Excellent. Yeah. Oh, did you have any pre-show rituals? Like, would you do yoga like Bruce Springsteen, or would you?
Yeah, not
Smash 1,000
yoga
beers,
yet.
or?
Yeah, the beers were definitely part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just around. So you have one at soundcheck or two at soundcheck, and then you have a break, and you go back to the hotel, and you might have a beer in the lobby, and so there's always just beer around. And now, I mean, right now I don't want to go on about, but I've been having the 0 alcohol beers before, so I still have that routine.
Yes.
So that's definitely a habitual side, but it's not like, you know, the boys will just have a beer here and there.
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
We've calmed down, but it's not that we need to have a ritual or a routine to remember what we need to do.
Yeah.
It's just that it can feel a little bit repetitive. So it's like, just before you go on stage, you might have had a day, you might have sound checked, then we might be in a beautiful place, so we went and saw something, or we did an activity, or we went and had a nap in the hotel, whatever.
Yeah.
Just before the stage, we just come together and put our arms around each other, and it just sort of reminds you you're about to play a show and there's an audience out there, because you can get distracted, you know, because you're doing this so often.
Yeah.
Every green room's the same, and it just kind of feels like you just need something that's going to remind you, like, okay, you haven't even seen the audience yet, because you come through the back door. You don't see the audience most nights.
Yeah, right.
And then you have to remind yourself about what you're about to do, because sometimes you don't do that, and you walk out and you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
I'm on a stage and there's all these people here right now, because you haven't actually reminded yourself of what it is you're about to do.
Yeah.
We huddle, and then my brother Zach starts it, and we all give each other a kiss on the cheek in a circle, like a...
Yeah.
And then everyone just sort of like screams really loudly, like in a guttural sort of way, and gets fired up. And then that's it.
That's a bit like the Freemasons with the weird handshake.
Yeah.
Not really. You've got 2 little kids. I've got 2 little kids, 1 big kid. And every night, the 2 boys, they want a song. You know, I sing them to sleep. And
Oh, that's awesome.
and my voice is terrible, but the song is usually Holy Grail, Hunters and Collectors. Yeah, because for whatever reason, I love that song as a youngster.
It's incredible.
And I know the words. It's one of the few songs I know the words to. And you've covered that song.
Yeah.
That was a really interesting cover.
It was terrifying. You got to, because that was on a tribute record, right? So
Yeah, was it The Crucible?
yes. And we found out that we were going to get the chance to do a cover on that record.
Yeah.
We didn't know which one, and then they sent us, you're doing this one, and we were like,
Oh, you didn't get to pick?
We were told we're doing the Holy Grail, and we're like, oh, okay. So it's terrifying, because with a song like that, it's ubiquitous. Like, everybody knows it, and it's got a lot of riffs, and there's a lot of stuff going on that is just like so important to the song. But so you either have to do a straight up bar for bar, you know, cover like you were.
You nail it.
Well, just try and do like a karaoke version of it.
Yeah.
So you don't disappoint anyone.
Yeah.
Or you have to do your own thing. And we were like, we're just going to do our own thing, because no matter what, we're going to piss people off.
Yeah.
It's a hard, so we just did our own thing. And then at the very end of the song, we, because you know it's got the down, down, down. So we didn't do any of that. And then at the very end of the song, we're like, all right, let's give them what they want. And so we did this sort of breakdown. And then at the very end of the song, we gave them that piece, which is we gave it all out at the end. We couldn't leave them hanging.
No.
But yeah, that was a tricky one, man. It's always scary doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So they love that song. Sing it to them every night, and I played them your cover, and they hated it. So I don't know what to say. But look, they're 4 and 7. You know, they're probably not the best.
Did they really hate it?
They did.
That's so good.
Do you know why?
You know what?
I think it's because it didn't have the riff, the down. I know it happens at the end, but like their attention spans, you know.
Oh, that's heartbreaking. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm pretty sure that they're in good company.
So was critical feedback not great? I loved it for what it's worth.
I don't think I ever read much feedback.
Do you generally not? Are you like, don't want to know what people think? I'll do my job and just...
Well, especially if it's that. It's like, you're kind of set up to lose if you're going to be made to cover a song like that. Like, I think the probably some of the better feedback was, well, that's a bold choice. It's about as good as it got, you know?
Yeah, no, that's nice. I like that, yeah. I think that's what the kids were trying to say.
Yeah, bold choice.
Came out different.
Yeah. No, but in terms of like feedback from, I want people to like our music.
Yeah.
But, you know, the internet's a dark and awful place. So it's like, I actually really, truly don't read comments on YouTube or...
It's best not to. I found a clip from 2018 where you're riding in the back of a Jaguar XJ with the late Michael Gudinski.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember everything.
That would have been...
From those days.
That would have been pretty incredible. This guy's the kingmaker in Australia.
Yeah.
And he is talking you up.
Well, he was a close friend.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Michael was a really close friend of ours by that point even.
More than just a professional relationship.
Big time.
Wow,
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he was a true champion of our band. So like he was the reason that we signed, or a big reason why we signed to Ivy League Records, which is under the Mushroom Group, which is Michael Gudinski. We were in New York recording our first record. We didn't have a record deal, and my phone rang actually at night in New York, and it was him. And he called me to try and convince me to sign with them because we had a few deals on the table and we didn't know what to do. And it was that call with him that sort of got us to sign with them. And then from that moment forward, he was just like a mafia figure, you know, in the best way possible.
Yes.
You know, like if he's on your side, he's going to make sure people are going to play your music.
Yeah.
He's going to do crazy shit to make sure they play your music.
He's going into battle for you.
He goes into battle for you, and he will make sure that he went into Nova or one of the big radio stations, and, you know, to pitch one of our songs. I think he'd been called in for a meeting regarding something they were doing with Ed Sheeran because he was very close with him and worked with him. And I think Gudinski basically got into the boardroom for that reason and said, I'm not going to listen to any of your pitch about this Ed Sheeran idea you've got until we listen to the new single by the Rubens.
No way.
And made everyone sit there and listen to the new single, and all right, so you're going to play that, and then now we're going to talk about Ed Sheeran. That was the kind of stuff he would pull. Wow. And I found out that from people at Nova. He
never told you and said...
No, he never did.
I really helped you out there, mate.
No, God, no.
Wow.
That's just how he operated.
So just a top bloke.
If he liked you and he wanted you to succeed, he would pull out all the stops. And I heard a million stories like that from people within the industry, especially radio and what else. Like they'd be like, "Oh, fuck, he drives a hard bargain. I like it." And he was just the perfect guy to have on your side.
You were at the top of the mountain in Australia, you know. Was 2018? Yeah, I mean, you still are. You guys are. Oh, speaking of which, is there going to be new material? Are you working on anything?
Yeah. I've been in the studio. The last couple of months have been a lot of work in the studio, which is awesome. Yeah. Actually, I'll be in tomorrow doing vocals, and then I mean, we're actually to the point now we've got a couple of bits of vocal, like lead singer stuff to do, and then the whole thing's finished. Next record. So yeah.
Much excitement. So can you talk about when it might release, or is this all hush hush?
I can give you some vague.
I love vague. Let's go.
Well, first single will be early next year.
So summer, Aussie summer.
Yeah, nice. End of Aussie summer.
Nice.
First single, and then as we always do, you roll out single after single, and then you drop the whole record. But yeah, it's really cool, man. I think in terms of like the way it's sounding, we wanted to sort of take, because you know, if you listen to our music over the years, we've definitely we've developed whatever interest, like if a specific synth sound is exciting for us at the time, we're going to use that on that record. And just because a song that may have had success, like just because Hoops did really well, didn't mean we tried to make another one of those, you know? So whatever's exciting to us at the time, we're going to do. So there's been multiple different records with different sort of sounds going on. So we're trying to sort of pick the best of what we've done over our career so far and go that way. But we want it to be a bit more in the rock and roll world.
Ooh, so a little bit less synth, maybe a little bit more.
A little bit more. There's a bit more acoustic as well, like which we never used to play, but now we've got some acoustic going and bring it back to sort of more rock and roll guitars as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sounds sick.
And I guess that will mean in the near future you'll be doing some touring as well.
Yeah. So we will be heavily on the road in 2026. It's just how it goes. Like, sort of goes in those cycles. Like, my life is either, writing and recording.
Yep.
And, and then it's out there promoting what you've just released.
Yeah.
It's one of those two things. I'm either in a dark room making music with my friends, or I'm on the road playing shows.
Yeah.
Two really different environments as well, which is like screws with your head a little bit. You have to like go into like, suddenly you're in touring mode for 2 years straight or 3 years straight, and then you're back to, all right, they want to hear new music. So yeah, it's kind of a cycle.
Chatted briefly earlier about back in the day, platinum selling CDs. Today is very different. It's basically Spotify, and obviously, live radio is still important as well, but it's a very different ball game.
There's been a few eras of change since we started, because we've been going since 2011, and quite a lot has changed since then. So like, there was the digital side of things. So we did sell CDs at the start of our career. That was a thing. Yeah. That disappeared, and then iTunes came along, and people would still individually purchase songs or records. Like, they would pay $10.99 or whatever, and they would own that record on iTunes.
Yep.
Nothing physical, but they owned that.
Yeah.
That I didn't like that when that happened.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people didn't like it, but I guess that was the first step.
Yeah.
And then streaming came in. So the platforms came in where people paid a subscription and had access to everything all at once. And that was the big change, because people didn't need to listen to a whole record. That, like, at least with iTunes, if you paid $10.99, you're going to listen to every song.
Yeah.
You've paid for that whole record. You're going to listen to that whole record. Now, you pay whatever it is per month for Spotify or whatever streaming service. And if an artist releases an album, you don't. A lot of people will just go and listen to the song that they know and move on. So it's real a la carte in that way, which is just not good, because people spend a lot of time making albums, and there's a reason why they put the album track list in this order, and and some of my favorite songs from back in the day were songs that weren't the singles. They were the B-sides and the songs within the record. You might be attracted to an album because you heard a song on the radio, but then your favorite song often is one of the ones that was never heard on the radio. Yeah. And so people aren't having that experience.
Has it made it harder to make a living?
It's made it harder, yeah, for sure. Because you just don't make as much money from the sales side of things. So people, So that's one element of it. And then I think in the recent years, things like TikTok and all the short form content has really influenced music as well. 10 years ago, it was the album people would buy. Then it got reduced to the song. Now it is the clip.
Yeah.
And people will listen to
stanza or
Exactly. And a lot of the data shows that, like, a lot of people on TikTok, if there's a sound on TikTok of this song that's going viral, people will know that 30-second clip, but they will never go to Spotify and find it and listen to the rest of the song.
Yeah.
So, like, the chances are people will never listen to the whole song of a song that's gone viral on TikTok. They will just listen to that clip of that song and only know that. And that means that translates across to live music. Like, if all you as a young person know is clips of songs by one-hit wonders or individual artists, there is no reason for you to want to go and see them live.
It's a fair call, yeah.
You're not going to go. You're not going to pay $100 to go on a weekend to see someone play the 30 seconds of one of their songs that you know. So that's just like that. It feeds into everything.
It does, yeah.
And a lot of artists who are doing really well on streaming, like a lot of I really am glad we're not coming up as an artist now, because
you've got your fan base.
We've got a fan base and they're great, and they're going to be there for us, and they have been. But if you're trying to develop a live fan base now, it is really hard. The artists that you see on Spotify who might have millions of streams will struggle often to sell 200 tickets.
Wow.
It just doesn't translate. I don't really know why, but it's just a wild market out there right now.
Is music appreciation dead? I reckon there's a...
I don't think it's dead.
There's a thesis in that, surely.
There is. I think people appreciate music. They just don't appreciate the artist. That's going to sound really wanky, but I think for a lot of music consumers, they're just happy just to listen to whatever gets fed to them by the algorithm.
Yeah. And algorithms.
Algorithms.
The bane of everyone's existence. You look up one donkey video and then,
it's just horses.
It's just mules, asses, donkeys. Never ends. We're kind of we're on the south coast of New South Wales. We're looking at some beautiful beaches here. Are you a surfer by any chance? Do you get in the water?
I try. I
Yep.
try to surf.
Yep.
Not great. I bodyboard better than I surf.
Oh, now you're talking my language.
There's
Fellow gut slider over here.
It's coming back. I'm telling you. It feels like there's something going on.
And what about your local breaks? You got a favourite around here?
So for bodyboarding, there's one called Headlands.
Yep.
Which is kind of like the wave I grew up surfing. It's back in the day, it was pretty much only bodyboarders on there because
wow.
it's pretty heavy and
It's a rarity.
Yeah, but surfers have just gotten way more ballsy.
Yeah.
And they're starting to surf crazier waves. So
And the
it's pretty
board
cool.
technology as well for the stand-ups. It's
Totally, yeah. So there's some crazy surfers in there now as well. I miss the adventure side of surfing as well. Like,
Yes.
I used to put, like everyone knows the feeling of like, spend 3 hours in the morning just driving and umming and ahhing with your mates and trying to work out where you're going to go. And sometimes it's a good idea, and sometimes the wind picks up and you've wasted your morning. But I miss that side of it. Or I'd love to go on like a dad surf trip.
Yeah.
Like I haven't been overseas for bodyboarding or surfing for 15 years or more probably. So I would. That's another goal for me, is just to go Indo or Mentawai or somewhere and have a crack.
I went to East Java once.
Oh,
So fly into, I can't remember where it was, Jakarta, and then you're in the back of a busted up Toyota Hilux for about 3 hours, bouncing through the bush, middle of nowhere. Unbelievable. It was.
what were the waves like?
They were too heavy most of the time for my skill level at the time. Like I was scared. It was an adventure though. It was so cool. Have you ever had any issues in the water? You ever had people yell at you, or you ever dropped in on the wrong dude, or?
I've had heaps of that.
Here we go.
Well, that just happens, right?
It does,
like
it
I've
does,
never been punched or anything, but
No.
like sometimes you just accidentally drop in, or
It does happen.
there's been a few sharky situations.
Oh, really? Tell me about that.
Well, this is going to sound like a humble brag, and it is.
Here we go.
But I went to Teahupo'o,
Oh,
and
just hanging out Teahupo'o?
yeah, so I went to Teahupo'o for a week
Yep.
with a bodyboarder mate of mine.
This is Tahiti, by the way.
Tahiti.
Probably the heaviest wave on the planet.
Crazy wave.
Yeah.
And when you get in there, all the locals are lovely, right?
Yeah.
And on the weekends, they all come from Papeete and all the other places around Tahiti to surf there. So it's a bit busy on the weekends, but when you go out, you say hi to everyone, and everyone gives you knuckles, and it was awesome. And they love Australians there, and it was really cool.
That's cool.
But I got there, and I went through the lineup to say hi to everyone, then went back to my spot, to wait my turn.
Yep.
And I think because they saw us as Australians, and Australians at that time especially were known for being professional, they called us in to wave. So basically, rather than like us having to wait our turn, we were up the front of the lineup, and they said, you go.
Yeah.
And I think they knew they were calling me into a closeout. So I got called in, and on my first wave, first day at Teahupo'o, got pumped, cut up.
Really? So grinded across the reef?
Yeah, my foot got gashed open.
Oh.
It was awesome that they called me into it. Like, it was cool.
was
But
a
I
sign
got
of respect,
smashed.
but
And then there was sharks circling me in the lagoon.
Because all
where
this
am
blood
I?
coming everywhere.
All these reef sharks. And I was like, what is going on?
Oh, dude.
But that was that place. If I could go back to any wave in the world, it would be there, just because it is paradise.
Oh, mate,
Yeah.
I love watching videos of it when it's just heavy. It's like it's got this gaping maw. It's like a monster. It's like it's alive. These tons and tons of what. Anyway, I'm starting to froth. We'll move on. Last question before we hop out of the car and do our pit stop for the lightning round questions. Have you ever done anything like naughty or illegal in a car? I've had a few speeding tickets. That's about it. All I can say. I'm pretty chilled. Oh, there's something here.
I was driving back from work when I was working at a pizza shop after high school, and I was probably going over the speed limit 10 k's per hour, 70 in a 60 zone or something.
Right.
And a police car went past me, and I was like, oh, did he get me? Did he get me? And he went past for a long time, like probably got about 300 or 400 meters past me.
Oh, surely you're good.
And I'm like, I think I'm good. And then I saw the lights turn on. And then I saw the start of maybe a U-turn, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
So I just turned off the main road and just did some backstreet driving, just chilled out, turned the lights off in the car for a little bit. because I don't know if he was coming for me. He didn't make it known that it was me.
Your heart.
There could have been someone else that he was about to pull over.
Yeah.
I just turned the lights off for a little bit in the car in the back streets, and then just drove home. Now, I don't know if that's a problem or not, but the statute of limitations is well and truly.
I think you're okay.
Yeah.
No, that's
He was coming for me.
Yeah, I think so. I think he was. Yeah, but you got away. You know, that's.
Yeah, well, a win for the good guys, right?
That's it. You know, some sort of road violation, I'm sure. But all right, let's head out. All right, Sam. Lightning round. First question: vocals or guitar?
Guitar.
Folk music or EDM?
Folk.
Who's wilder, drummers or harpists?
Probably harpists.
Smashing guitars or hitting the gym?
Smashing guitars.
Hotel room TV out the window or smashing the minibar?
Smashing the minibar.
Have you ever thrown a TV out a hotel room?
No, but I smashed a lot of minibars.
Okay, all right. Well, that's good. You're definitely a rock star. Voice of an angel or voice of a chain-smoking demon?
Chain-smoking demon.
Forgotten lyrics or forgotten pants?
Forgotten pants.
Stadium pyro accident or dive bar electrical fire?
Stadium pyro accident, because I don't think anyone would get hurt in the audience, and people. No one's gonna die.
No, this is true. Yeah.
Purely for that reason.
Dive bars is
That's
risky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be deaths.
Retire gracefully or perish at 93 years old trying to do a backflip on stage?
Retire gracefully.
Good answer. Now for the car questions. Long drive or short trip?
Long drive.
Manual or auto?
I have to say auto. If we're talking about for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
For the rest of my life, auto.
Yeah. Sports car or SUV?
Sports car.
Petrol or diesel?
Petrol.
Hybrid or full EV?
Full EV.
Cruise control or old school foot control?
I never use cruise control.
Fresh air or circulated air?
Circulated air.
Fast lane or slow lane?
Fast lane.
Calm or impatient driver?
I was thinking about this the other day. It's not a... Do you want me to go into it? I was
Yes,
thinking
please.
about this. Yeah, okay. So I was thinking that maybe I've got a problem with, people talking about being zen and in the moment and just being comfortable with the right now and how that's a hard thing to do. I think that bleeds into my driving. Right. I think I realise I can't just sit and just enjoy the moment.
Zone out.
I'm getting there.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm always why am I going faster than I need to be,
City roads or country roads?
Country roads.
Windows down or AC on?
Windows down.
Apple CarPlay or Android Auto?
Apple CarPlay.
Music or podcast?
Podcasts.
Driver or passenger?
Driver.
What does Nick Cave smell like?
Incense.
Have you ever been to Kid Rock's house?
No.
I've heard it's pretty crazy.
I've heard that too.
Proudest achievement as an artist? Triple J Hottest 100 or ARIA Award?
Hottest 100.
Would you join a bikie gang one day?
No.
What's your favourite sandwich?
Reuben.
That wasn't a trick question. Now, you didn't name the band after the sandwich, did you?
No.
No, I didn't.
I've had to answer that question a lot, especially in the States.
Yeah. I'd be mad for it.
Like the sandwich? And you're like, no.
No, yeah.
Like the sandwich?
Who do you credit for your success?
God.
Nice. Tell me you don't believe in God. Team effort.
Team effort. It's team effort.
Yeah.
Parents.
Yes.
Both parents.
Do you believe that social media should be age gated?
Yes. 100%. And if you don't believe that, have some kids.
Find out pretty quick.
Yeah, you'll find out.
Sam, an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Learned so much. I've enjoyed the drive. Your backyard is absolutely spectacular.
It is beautiful, isn't it?
And
Should we go for a swim?
We should. I also have one last thing to say. We've got a camera here, here, and here. It's time to plug whatever you're working on.
Okay, down that one, eh?
Go for it.
All right. It hurts to plug stuff, doesn't it? All right. New album, The Rubens, coming out 2026. It's finished. It sounds incredible. What else can I plug? Oh, really interesting music documentary that we're working on. That will also be beginning 2026 around the world. Worldwide, baby. I'm done.
Mr. Worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide. Man, it hurts to plug stuff.
I sprung that last thing on you, but I ripped that off Hot Ones. Have you ever watched that?
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. I think it's a good way to do it. Because it's a good way to do the format, because every one of the successful podcasts, live
we're done, guys,
interview
so-
shows,
Yeah.
every one of those shows